For the large box, you will need chipboard, and I cut two pieces that are 6.5 by 9.5, one piece that is 2.25 by 9.5, one piece that is 2.25 by 9, and two pieces that are 2.25 by 6.25. For the outside of the box, I printed these images on cardstock 110 pounds, and I cut two at 7.5 by 11 and one piece at 5 by 11 for the spine. For the inside of the box, I printed cardstock, and I cut one piece at 7.5 by 9. Another piece I cut at 8.25 by 9.25. Then I cut two pieces at 2.75 by 6.25 and one piece at 3 by 9. Now we are going to put together the pieces that you see, and we are going to cover each piece of chipboard with the paper. And you will do this way. The printed paper is bigger, and you're going to fold it to the back, but you have to put it like this, and then you are going to use something to score so you can make a nice fold, and then you can add glue on your chipboard piece and then glue the part straight to the front and the rest to the back. Now you're going to do the same with the small pieces. Now we are going to cover the rest of the chipboard pieces. For that, we are going to use the pieces that we printed on cardstock, and we are going to use them, two for the sides and one for the spine. And we are going to glue this way. Now we are going to attach the chipboard on the cardstock, and we have to align on the sides. And you can cut the corners right here so it doesn't look bulky on them. Now I'm going to add more tape to attach the sides. Now I'm going to prepare the other chipboard piece. Now I have the two chipboard pieces covered with the cardstock paper, and now I'm going to finish with the cover of the right side only. Now I'm going to attach the chipboard piece that goes for the spine in the center of the paper that I'm going to use for the spine. This piece of chipboard has tape and I'm going to put in the center of this paper. Now I'm going to attach the back side of the box and I'm going to leave 1/4 of an inch in between the spine and I'm going to glue that part next to it. As you can see, I just put my ruler and I measure 1/4 of an inch. Now I will do the same with the other side. Now for the left side, I'm going to use this band tape that you can use for first aid, and you can use any kind of fabric, ribbon, anything that can prevent tearing of the paper, and because that will be the flap that open and close. So I'm going to add glue and I will add the tape on top so it can be more strong, and then I'm going to just press in the center so it can be all the way covered, and that flap will have to open all the way to the back, so it had to swing from the back to the front very well. Now I'm going to glue the rest of the flaps of the left side of the cover. Here you have to make 2 cuts so you can fold the paper very well. Now I'm going to attach the cardstock paper in the inside, and as you can see, these are the measurements, and I'm going to start on the right side. And I'm going to leave 1/8 of an inch around. And I'm going to use the bone folder to mark in the indentation between the spine and the cover. Then I'm going to press very well, and I'm going to finish gluing the part that goes on the spine. and I'm going to press very well so it can be folded nicely. Now I'm going to do the same on the other side, and don't forget to put glue on top of the band-aid or fabric that you put in there. And now I'm going to cover, and I'm going to leave 1/8 of an inch around. And before your glue dries on the joint of the first flap and the spine, you are going to swing that flap of the cover from the back to the front, and it has to be very flexible. Now we are going to glue these pieces that were covered at the beginning, and it will go like this. So now I'm going to add glue. And as you can see, I add glue on the small piece, on the end of the small piece, and now I'm going to attach to the long piece, and I will try to put it straight, and I will attach this way. Then to keep it straight and hold them, I'm going to use masking tape. And masking tape is based on paper, so it's okay. It can stay there even when you add more paper on top, and that will hold them together until it dries. Now I will add glue to the other piece of chipboard, and as you can see, I just put glue at the end, and I will do the same thing. I will attach to the long one, and I will put masking tape to hold them together. And let them dry, and after they are dry, you can glue them on top of the back of the box. Leave like about 1/4 of an inch all around, and before to let it dry, you are going to lift the spine up and push that part against, and it had to be straight, and after that you have to let it dry. After it's dry, you're going to add glue on the sides, and you're going to glue that part to the spine. You have to push the sides against the spine, hold it for a little bit, and then close it and push it against, and then you're going to put something heavy on top so you can let it dry. Now I have 2 sheets of cardstock, and they are 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to use this ball tip to score lines, but use the big one, not the small one. If you use a very fine tip, it's going to rip the paper. So as you can see, I put my finger on the top and I score every 1/8 of an inch. And we are going to use the side that is in the back. Then I cut this vertical paper in 4 pieces, and I'm going to reserve one for the other book. Then I'm going to measure, and I will cut on that side, as you can see, and I need to cut 2 of those, and I will keep one for the long side. As you can see, I already cut that paper, and I have extra papers, and I'm going to use that to test the color of ink that I want to use. And I'm going to cut this in 4 pieces. And I already have my samples, so you can cut those as you can see in this size, and you can test with any ink color and see which one do you like more for the sides of your book. Now I'm going to look at the samples and see which one goes better with the colors of the cover that I chose. I made my choice, and then now I'm going to color the papers that I have ready for gluing on that side. As you can see, I put scraps of paper in the back, and then remember that the back side that you score is going to be the one that you need to ink. And I'm using the ink pad and goes straight and try to color off the ridges on that paper. Now these pieces are ready, and I'm going to glue them to the book box. You are going to glue the long piece first, and as you can see, just put glue on the edges and on the sides. Then I put glue on the small pieces and I glue them to the sides. Now the book box is ready and you can save anything inside. Now we are going to make that small book box, and for that we will use 2 pieces of chipboard that are 5 by 8. Then I will need 1 piece that is 1 3/4 by 8. 1 piece that is 1 3/4 by 7.5, and 2 pieces that are 1 3/4 by 4 3/4. For the outside of the cover, I will use 2 pieces of cardstock, and they are going to be 6 by 10, and another one that is going to be 4 1/4 by 10. For the inside, I'm going to use cardstock, and I'm going to cut one piece that is 6 3/4 by 7 3/4, another piece that is 5 1/2 by 7 1/2, then one piece that is 2 1/2 by 7 1/2, and two pieces that are 2 1/2 by 4 3/4. Now we are going to cover the small chipboard pieces. And here I have the 3 pieces ready. Now we are going to do the cover exactly like the big one. We are going to cover the sides and also the spine. And now we are covering the inside of that. Finish the right side first, and then don't forget that you add any kind of fabric on the left side, because that's the opening, and that has to swing from the back to the front. Now we are going to glue the sides of the book box. Now we turn this piece upside down, and we are going to put glue so we can attach to the box. We are going to leave like about 1/4 of an inch all around, and we are going to make sure that this part closes against the spine. And we have to let it dry before we glue to the spine. When it's dry, you just apply glue on the sides and press tight against the spine. Put some weight on top and let it dry. Then use one sheet of cardstock and score every 1/8 of an inch, and cut the pieces that you need to embellish the sides of the book box. Remember that you are going to put ink on the back of the paper that you scored. Now glue all the pieces that you ink to embellish your book box. Now the small book box is ready. And here are the two book boxes that we made. And you can just embellish them the way you want. To embellish these two boxes, I use lace and it looks like this. And I just glue it on both sides. And for the spine of the big box, I use this lace. And now I'm going to glue this lace on the spine of the small box. Now I added a die cut on top of the small box, and I will glue these little leaves and I will glue all around. Then I'm going to add little roses too, and then on top of that I'm going to use the pink roses. When I have 4 roses, I'm going to add these pieces of tulle, and as you can see, I just put them together and glue them in the spaces. That way they will look fuller. I cut 2 pieces of foam board and I'm going to use them for the center to raise the rose that goes at the end. And now my box is done, and I'm going to put on top of the big one, and I will just embellish the side of the spine. I'm adding a bow that I made with satin ribbon, and I'm going to put in the center of the spine. Then I just added 1 rose with a leaf on top. And this is how they look for display. For the cover of the journal, we are going to use chipboard, and I cut 2 pieces that are 5.5 by 8.5 and 1 piece that is 1.5 by 8.5. For the inside of the cover, I printed on cardstock and I cut 2 pieces at 7 by 8 and 1/4. For the outside of the cover, I printed on cardstock and I cut 2 pieces at 7.5 by 11 and 1 piece at 4 by 11. Now you're going to open these pages for the cover, and you're going to turn them to the back and put them side by side, and we are going to glue the spine on top, and that's the piece of chipboard, and we are going to place just in the center. You can use your ruler to align to the grid, or you can make a mark and place it in the center. Then you're going to get the other two pieces of chipboard, and those are for the cover, and you just have to attach them next to the spine, but use your ruler to leave 1/4 of an inch in between. Now I'm going to apply glue because I'm going to add fabric A tape in between the gaps there so it can reinforce the paper. And you will see now that after I apply the glue, I'm going to just place the tape on top, and I'm going to use a bone folder. You can use a bone folder or a ball tip and push that fabric in the center. And you can use any kind of fabric. You can use tulle, you can use cheesecloth, or maybe ribbon, something that is thin, and that will help you to protect the spine and the sides of the cover so it doesn't rip apart. And I do the same thing on the other side. When you are done with the spine, you are going to fold the sides of the paper, and you are going to put adhesive or glue and attach them to the chipboard pieces so your cover can be done. I applied glue in the parts that has the fabric so it can be well attached. Now I'm going to make a mark at 1 1/4 of an inch on the side of this paper so I can glue it to the spine of my cover. I applied glue and tape on the spine to reinforce it, and also on the paper that it's going to be attached on the spine, I applied tape on the sides to attach all the paper on the cover. Then I will add glue on this part and finish gluing it on the inside of the cover. Now I have the papers that are going to place right here on this side of the cover, but we are not going to put it yet because we are going to glue the flaps that go on top. I chose this paper and I'm going to make a flap with a pocket, and I just cut a white space on the top, and then I'm going to measure on the other side up to 8 1/4 of an inch. Now I'm going to cut in this line so I can make the pocket of this flap. Now on the white side, I'm going to score at 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to fold it to the back. And as you can see, I folded to the back, and now this is ready to glue on this paper. Now I'm going to attach this paper up here so I can make the flap. And for that, I'm going to put glue on the sides right here, on top and bottom, and also in the side of this paper. Now I get the paper that is going to be attached, and I place it like this, and now I'm going to fold the flap that will be the pocket, and I just press, and it had to be glued to that side. Now on this side, I'm going to glue a paper that is 5 1/4 by 8 1/4, but before that I'm going to place a magnet so this flap can be attached to the cover. And now I'm going to attach this paper to the flap. Now I will add the other magnet in the back of the paper that will go attached to the cover. Now I'm going to attach the right side of the cardstock that go on top of the cover. Then I will continue with the left side. I added glue on the side of the flap so it can be secure. And I also added glue on the side of the fabric tape. And this is how it looks. Now I have this piece that measures 5 by 8 and also this page that I printed double-sided and I cut at 5, and then that piece I cut at 4. Then I just score half of an inch on the top of that piece and at the bottom of the other one. Now I'm going to glue those papers to the back of the paper that is 5 by 8. Now I'm going to attach this part onto the right side of the cover. And I will glue this envelope from the embellishments. And now I'm going to attach it to the base. Then I printed on a cardstock with the same image on both sides. Then I cut 3 pieces at 4 by 4.5 and 1 piece at 3.5 by 4.5. Then on the 3 pieces I scored half of an inch on one side. Now you're going to put the 3 papers together and you're going to glue them. As you can see on the video, you had to fold all the flaps and then you're going to glue them one to each other on the folded side. When you are done, you're going to turn it to the back and you're going to glue the last piece in the inside. Then you're going to put glue or tape in the back and you're going to glue it on the base of the cover. leave like about 1/4 of an inch on the top side. You can add some tags on the pocket to hold the waterfall mats. I'm going to glue another pocket from the embellishments on the front of the flaps. Then you can add tags or mats to put on the pocket and hold the flap that opens that side. I created 3 signatures for the journal, and each signature has 7 printed papers, double-sided, and 3 stained papers. Now I'm going to make a template to add my journal to the cover. And I cut a paper that is 1.5 inches by 8. That's the size of the journal. And I folded in half. Then I folded each side to the center. Then I open and I have 3 lines. Now I'm going to use masking tape and secure this paper on the top and bottom of the center of the spine. The sides are going to be the same. If you touch, it's going to be exactly the same size, but the top and bottom you have to align exactly to the center. Now we are going to use a crocodile and we are going to open it all the way. That will be 1 inch, and we are going to make 3 holes at the bottom and 3 holes on the top, and you just have to align the crocodile to the lines that we have when we folded that paper. You have to do the same on both sides. Now carefully remove this paper from the cover, and you're going to cut the excess that's on the paper. Now we are going to fold this paper in half, and we are going to use this as a template to make the holes in the center of the papers that we have for the journal. I will use the paper piercing and I will make 2 holes only, one on the top and one on the bottom. And I will do the same for the other 2 signatures. I used seam binding to attach the signatures to the journal. It looks like this, but I put some water on it and then I crinkle it and It looks like this when it's dry, and I'm going to cut like about 3 yards, and each yard I'm going to pass through the signature, and I'm going to pass through the cover, and then I will let it out of the needle, and then on the other side I'm going to do the same thing with the other end. I pass through the end and then through the cover. Now I'm going to pull very well the seam binding, and I will make sure that everything is tight, as you can see, and I'm not going to tie it until I have the 3 signatures done. So I'm going to proceed to do the other 2. When you are done, you have to pull very well both ends of the seam binding. Then you are going to grab one end from the left side and another end from the right side, one from the top and one from the bottom, and you are going to tie it, double tie, and then leave the center and go to the other 2 ends, one from the left at the bottom and one from the right on the top, and tie them together. This time you had to pull very well and tie them. Then you're going to do the center, and for that I just make a double knot, and that's it. You have all these strings loose, and then you can cut at the end, and you can add some beads or any decoration, but it looks very shabby. I added some pony beads at the end, and it looks very cute. Then I glue an embroidered flower at the top to cover the knots. Now on the flap of the cover that we made, we are going to add 2 journal pages. We will use embroidery thread and the same template that we use for the signatures. We are going to put it in there, and we are going to pass it through all the way through the flap. And as you can see, it's just passing both sides. And then we are going to use a needle and an embroidery thread and pass it through. And we are going to tie it in the inside of the flap, and we will make a double knot. Now you have extra pages of journaling, and they are hiding and secure with magnets. Now the journal is ready, and you can add all the embellishments, pockets, and tags everywhere. I also made a case for these mini file folders, and I'm going to show you how I made it, so you can put things in there like tags or mats or anything, and save it in the case. I printed on cardstock on one side only, and I cut it at 6 1/4 by 10 1/2. Then I scored 1/2 inch on both sides of the long side. Then turn the paper and score at 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 6 3/4, and 7 1/4. Then you have to fold on all of the sides. Now we are going to make some cuts on the sides, as you can see on the video. Now add glue to close the case. Make sure you put the base on the table and make it straight. Then you're going to cut the extra paper on the sides. I'm going to glue some lace on the top to embellish it. Then I'm going to use Velcro for the closure. And last, I'm going to use this little tag for a label of this case. And this is how the case is finished, and it looks very shabby. And here are the mini file folders from the embellishments, and I put mats and a paper that I'm going to use for journaling. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching. Have a blessed day, everyone. Bye-bye.